Hey folks, this is video number 68, and the title is Bob Two Hats. This is a story about three friends who decided to go to lunch in town for a change. I'll use three mundane names: Bob, Dan, and Don. We were three members of the Cincinnati Global Training Group for diaper projects. We would eventually be training startup teams from Japan, Spain, Germany, Poland, and England. Anyway, we decided to go to the Red Squirrel restaurant in a strip mall on Route 942 next to the Kmart. We took my truck. Dan sat on the passenger side and Bob was tucked into the middle. As Bob slid in, he picked up my boonie hat. He was already wearing a baseball cap. I told him to try it on. He just stuffed the oversized hat on top of his ball cap. Dan pulled himself into the passenger side. Dan was shot in the back in Vietnam. He had a numb leg and had to wear a brace to walk. On the way to the restaurant, we were grossly focused in a discussion about how to address a few issues we were encountering in our work process. I had to park about 150 feet from the building. The three of us got out and started walking abreast towards the building. Dan on the left, and I was on the right. Bob was in the middle. Being engrossed with our discussion, Bob forgot about having two hats on. He looked absolutely ridiculous. I was trying not to laugh. Danny was hobbling along and trying to look away and not laugh. The front of the stores had mirror-like windows. For some reason, Bob never caught his reflection in the windows. Now, Dan and I have eaten at the Red Squirrel before. The manager usually comes to the entrance and welcomes customers. In turn, he quickly runs through the day's specials written on a large whiteboard, and then we enter and are seated. This time, as we approached the entrance, the manager spied us. He sprinted to the door. The manager greeted us. Next, he went very slowly over the menu on the board. By slowly, I mean about 2 words per second. We were probably a real sight wobbling and hobbling through the parking lot and over to the entrance. After a couple of minutes at the menu board, he led us into the dining room. He seated us in a booth all the way in the back left corner. You would have needed a spotlight to find us. Dan and Bob sat on one side facing outward and me on the other. Usually a waitress comes right up to see about drinks. Not this time. This time, as I looked over, I saw the three waitresses in a huddle, shaking heads and pointing fingers. It was obvious that none of them wanted to wait on the three whack jobs in the corner booth. Now the three of us have extensively traveled the country for work. We've developed a routine that when a waitress comes up and introduces herself, we would introduce ourselves as well. This time, we rather unnerved the waitress, who by default got to wait on us. She took our drink order and scurried off. Now, Dan is beet red and trying not to laugh. I want to bite the table as I have my head down and can't take much more. The whole time, Bob is still discussing our solutions while the boonie hat is flopping away. Finally, we couldn't take it anymore. I don't remember if it was Dan or me who spilled the beans to Bob. His reaction was one of being slightly stunned. He took off the second hat. We apologized to the waitress and explained what had happened. She was relieved to find we were not three dumbbells from the Ding Dong School. We did leave her a generous tip. And that concludes our little fiasco with Bob and his two hats. All the best, folks.